Okay, so as we start our look, or wrapping up our lesson on the Roaring Twenties, we're going to move into the Depression era. So before we do that, let's look back at the Roaring Twenties. Why was it called the Roaring Twenties? Anybody? Yes, Sarah.
Because everybody was doing pretty good except for the poor people, but the rich people were doing really good and businesses made a lot of money.
Rich people and the middle class did pretty well during the Roaring Twenties.
Right. Women got the right to vote.
They did. That was earlier.
So
Yep.
they were able to go out and get jobs,
Mhm.
economies, and people were spending like crazy and investing because they got credit.
Mhm.
Yes, people had credit cards.
Yeah, they had
Credit cards, and why is that maybe important as we move forward?
They
Overextended.
Overextend themselves, yep. And so how did this growth of industry also affect the overall economy though? Like what did it allow people to do besides borrow money?
Go on vacations.
Go on vacations, they had more time on their hands,
Right.
right?
Right. Yeah, more time on their hands.
So,
The increase also included the invention of and then the purchase of more automobiles,
Yeah.
more
Washing machines.
appliances, etc.
right, it gave you more free time too. So you see things like baseball, for instance,
Oh yeah, baseball.
grows massively in the 1920s. You have movies that grow massively. The movie industry grows massively in the 1920s because people have more disposable income.
Dancing.
Dancing,
Oh yeah.
jazz hands, right? So you have all these different kind of pastimes that come into place during the Roaring Twenties. What is laissez-faire economics?
Government just like leaves it alone, lets it go.
Kind of just hands off, right?
Mhm.
Not a lot of regulation.
Right.
How could that be either a good thing or a bad thing? Both.
Well, if there's no regulation, and then there's always a chance that something can get out of hand. For example, what I want to use for an example, large businesses just kept expanding, just kept getting more and more, and
Right, and the stock market then continues to grow and grow, and then it becomes maybe for the middle class citizen, they see that, and what would they think? What would they try and do?
let's get in on it.
Yeah.
Let's spend some money in the stock market.
Right, yep. So that would also,
That's the farm.
yeah, that would also lead to something called speculation.
Right.
What is speculation?
Assuming that things are going to always go better, get better.
It's buying on the stock markets based on what you think it's going to do in the future. So you invest on what you think the market's going to go. It's I don't know. It's how they like buy hogs.
Right, I mean, we've seen it recently
Oil, yeah.
with oil, right? The oil prices recently just absolutely plummeted
Right.
because speculation was at a certain level,
Right.
and then when you say it was May of 2020, well, you bought thinking that it was going to be at a certain level,
Right.
and when you actually get there, it's not, so you get this huge deficit completely tanking the market.
Right.
So that's why you see things trading at a negative. So that could be a bad thing for the market when you over speculate or are wrong with it too. So now I want to move into a bit of a simulation. Put yourselves, we're going to use $20 just to try and make it a little bit more realistic for us here. But put yourselves in the mindset of somebody in late summer 1929. Things are going great in the market. Things are booming, all right? So on the sheets that I gave you in front of you, if you've got a pen, and let's see, Kathy didn't come prepared to class, so even though she has her article, which is great, but she didn't have a pen.
I have my article. Oh, I have my article. And they
You
said
do, you do.
They didn't do. They also didn't buy from other countries.
Oh, that's something else that we can hit on though here quickly too.
Yeah.
After World War I, who was the leading economy in the world?
USA.
The USA.
Yeah.
Because Europe was what? Devastated by the war, and we didn't cover this in the stuff that I gave you, but I would have covered it in my regular class. Germany was blamed for a lot of it, so their economy was more than ruined already after World War I. With the loss of manpower in France and England, they were also struggling economically during the 1920s, allowing the United States to kind of become this world superpower economically at the time. So on the things in front of you,
Yeah.
I want you to think again about maybe 1920s jobs, but we're going to use $20, okay? So what is your workplace, or for the ladies, if you also want to make it a little bit more realistic for that, what is your husband's workplace if you aren't yourself working?
I could still be a teacher.
I could be a nurse. Oh, you know what, they had social workers back then.
I'm working on an automotive line.
Okay,
Yeah, I'm a
Yep.
nurse.
Ford.
Ford, all right.
Working for
I'm a
Ford.
teacher.
You're a teacher, all
I'm a
right.
nurse.
Nurse,
Mm.
and you're working in automotives now.
Sure.
Okay. How much money do you have saved in the bank?
This is on a separate note.
This is on a separate note. Yep. On a separate note, write down how much money you have saved in the bank.
On today's dollars?
In today's dollars. We're going to get to stocks here in a bit, but how much money do you have in the bank?
Like for reals?
What? Just whatever you want it to be.
That's probably, oh, but today's dollars, maybe
Mhm.
that's, okay.
Okay. Everybody got that down? Okay. How much money do you have invested in the stock market?
Now you're asking me to become a different person because I have none.
Right, yes, but my high schoolers also wouldn't necessarily have any either. So again, we're trying to imagine and putting ourselves in the place of people in 1929.
Alright, so,
Okay. And on your last sheet,
Oh, I see.
I want you to write down, again, Kathy, you're gonna have to think of a different person, and Nick, probably you too. Are you renting your house, or do you have a mortgage?
I have a mortgage because my job's gonna last forever.
There you go.
Right, I mean, it's this booming industry, right?
It
With,
needs a car.
you know, Henry Ford has just totally remade the way that we think about industry. Yeah. Okay, does everybody have those 4 cards written down? All right, well, as of right now, late October 29th, 2029, stock market's crashed, guys.
What does that mean?
That means that stocks have, what people have bought and invested in, which you talked about investing, those things are no longer worth what you had initially paid for. You know, we talked about markets and speculation falling. Well, now the stock market itself has been decimated. So take your investment card, the stocks that you owned, right? Do you think it's worth anything?
But I had this much money.
You-
I bought all this stuff.
You bought all that stuff, but the articles that we read, what did people do to buy those stocks?
oh, they give credit.
They bought them on credit.
Oh, God, so now you owe that much money.
That money is gone. So not only do you not have that money,
You owe
you
it.
still owe on the stocks. Rip that up. You don't own that anymore. That does not exist.
Oh,
Okay. Your money in the bank. You think that's safe?
no, it wasn't.
Why is it not safe?
But it's my money.
The
and
bank's
I-
Well,
closed.
over 2,000 banks failed.
Right. But what if I also told you that the banks were speculating with your money too?
Oh,
So your money was really not in the bank. They invested it in the stock market without your permission.
oh, okay, and there was no FDIC.
There was no FDIC part of the New Deal, which we will get to,
Yeah,
which the FDIC is what, guys? What is that? I mean, my students might not know that, but
Federal Deposit Insurance
yeah.
Corporation.
and what does that do?
It says that your money is your money and you can get it back.
Right.
But it's only up to, what, $50,000, something like that.
But if you
per
have
bank.
some that's protected. I mean,
Yeah.
$50,000 is still
Right.
a lot of money. So your money in the bank, which you could have maybe used to pay back those loans that you got from the bank, well, it doesn't exist either because the banks have used all that money to then themselves invest in the stock market.
Do you still owe on those loans?
You do still owe on those loans. Let's go ahead and rip that up then too. So you've lost your stocks. You've lost all your money in the bank.
I
Well, what do
own
we
a
still have?
house. I still have a mortgage on
You
it.
still
I still have a house.
own your house, right?
Well, no, you don't.
Well,
The
let's
bank-
hold on to that for a second. Let's get to your job. Let's go around the table and let's talk about your jobs.
I think my job still exists because I'm a teacher and kids still have to go to school
Fair enough. How are teachers paid?
with money, probably.
Tax money.
Yes,
What happens to tax money if the economy completely tanks?
doesn't exist, but you still have to have teachers.
You still have a job, but you're probably going to be paid a lot less than you were to begin with. So you can hold on to your job, but let's just keep that in mind. Okay,
People are no longer buying cars.
people are not buying cars anymore.
You lost your job.
In fact, during, we saw this huge boom in automobile sales. There was very, very rarely was there even a new automobile created between now and the end of World War II. A lot of people were still driving, while they were created, a lot of people were still driving their pre-Depression era cars, if they even had them still. So Nick, what happens to your job?
It's probably probably no longer a job there.
Probably not, so let's go ahead and rip up your card then there too. So no more job there. Kathy,
I'm a nurse midwife,
you're a nurse midwife. People are still having babies, right?
yeah,
How are you paid?
now they can't afford to pay me.
They can't afford to pay you. They're probably having home births, aren't they?
Yeah, but I was going out to their homes too.
But you're just doing it out of the goodness of your own heart,
I'm working for the Catholic Church.
which giving to the Catholic Church is probably